A targeted individual can mean a lot of things. Most people wouldn't assume they're important enough to be singled out, to the point where someone would obsess over their life, manipulate them psychologically, or quietly try to push them towards suffering. But here's the uncomfortable truth. There are flawed people in the world, and not all of them look evil. Not all of them look dangerous. Some are respected. Some are kind in public. Some are considered good by social standards. And still, sometimes people really do harass, bully, isolate, gossip, exclude, will quietly try to wear someone down emotionally. That part is real. That happens in society. Where it becomes harder to sort out is when the experience starts to feel bigger than one person, more organized, more coordinated, less like conflict, and more like something structured. That's where the idea of gangstalking comes in. Gangstalking is often described as a form of ultra-surveillance, where a group of people is believed to be monitoring someone's behavior, relationships, or reactions over time. In that framework, life begins to feel less random and more intentional, like a cat and mouse situation, where the stalkers are the cat and the individual is the mouse. Something moves and something follows. Over time, this belief can begin to shape perception. A stranger's glance feels loaded. A repeated coincidence feels coordinated. A delay, a laugh, a closed door. Each one becomes a possible sign of something watching. Now the experience isn't just emotional. It's exhausting. Not fear first, but fatigue. A lack of motivation. A quiet unraveling of focus and peace. Some people interpret this through a spiritual lens, as something demonic, as an attack on the soul, as a war for the heart. Faith can absolutely be a way of coping with this type of suffering. It can give meaning when life feels overwhelming or unfair. But it's also important not to confuse stress with prophecy or fear with spiritual warfare. Because once everything begins to feel intentional, the world can start to feel like a stage, where your struggles are being watched, judged, or even enjoyed by others. And this is where another hard truth enters. Some individuals do gain a sense of power, relief, or validation from someone else's discomfort. Psychology has studied traits like narcissism, antagonism, and even everyday sadism, where a person might feel better about themselves when they witness someone else failing, being embarrassed, or struggling. Not always dramatically. Sometimes it's gossip that spreads, subtle exclusion, enjoying that someone else is the topic of discussion, or quietly feeling superior because someone else is having a hard time. In those moments, it can genuinely feel like someone is feeding off your confusion or fatigue. From a psychological standpoint, the gangstalking experience is often understood differently. Not because the person is lying. Feeling watched can feel real. But the human brain is built to detect patterns, especially under stress. So when someone has experienced trauma, anxiety, isolation, or chronic pressure, the nervous system can shift into a state of hypervigilance. That means constantly scanning for threats. In that state, neutral events can feel personal. Coincidences can feel coordinated. Ordinary interactions can feel like signals. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as pattern detection under stress or confirmation bias, where once I suspect something is happening, I begin to notice anything that supports that belief, while overlooking what doesn't. Clinically, persistent beliefs about being monitored or targeted may fall under what's called persecutory ideation, interpreting uncertainty through threat when the brain is trying to protect itself. This doesn't make someone weak. It makes them human. But it can slowly reduce trust, motivation, relationships, and productivity. Because life begins to revolve around interpreting danger, instead of engaging with reality. Whether someone sees gangstalking as spiritual warfare or psychological strain, the outcome matters. If the belief leads to isolation, exhaustion, withdrawal, or loss of purpose, it's worth asking, is this helping me move forward? Or just helping me survive? Being self-aware doesn't mean dismissing pain. It means recognizing how stress, fear, and fatigue can shape perception. Sometimes the strongest move isn't desperately trying to prove what's against me. Sometimes it's protecting what's still within me: innocence, purpose,